The answer to the following 3 questions will help you remember the 12 Agile Principles for a long time, so that you can recall these principles in your certification examinations like PMP, PMI-ACP, CSM, PSM, SAFE, and other Agile certifications. In this video, I'm going to simplify this process for you and help you retain these 12 principles. It's pretty long, right? How many of us know all the 12 principles, right? Not all of us. So the main goal of this video is to help you understand, retain, remember the 12 Agile Principles. I will be giving you real-time examples from my experience in the software industry for the last 7 years as a software development project manager who's working with Agile Principles, managed 16 clients in 4 different geographies with 6 different types of contracts, and working in 3 different types of organizations like IT services, IT product company, and IT consulting. I want to bring all this immense learning that I have in Agile and tell you what are the real-time challenges to face and how we can apply these principles with my experience in this video. Let's get started. So what are the 3 questions I'm going to ask you? So these 3 questions will help you retain the 12 Agile Principles. The first question: what is your body mass index? Your BMI. Remember, you take a machine and press it in front of your head and find out what is your BMI, the body mass index. And you think, why is he asking us about a body mass index? How is this related to Agile? I'm going to tell you the association, the link, this mnemonic BMI with few Agile principles. Just ask yourself something. It could be healthy, unhealthy BMI, but that's okay. If it's unhealthy, work upon yourself, right? What is a BMI? Remember this word. Let me ask you the second question. As a kid, I could throw a ball almost 50 meters. But as when I've grown out, I'm like in my near close to my 40s. Now I can hardly throw like 35 to 40 meters, right? Just wanted to ask this question: how far can you throw this ball, right? As a kid, and how far can you throw it today? Again, are you thinking, why is he asking us to throw a ball? Again, I want to bring a link, an association between this word throws, right, with few Agile principles. That's the mnemonic, right? So that this will help you remember the human brain works in associations. If you can associate few principles with the word, with the mnemonic, it will be easier for you to recall this in your examination and answer so many questions based on Agile principles and pass all the tough serving examinations and scale up in your career. Finally, the last question I want to ask you: are you in the business of developing working softwares? Yes, finally one question related to Agile. Yes, all of us are in the business of developing working software, right? So DSW. So I'm going to give you mnemonics and relations between all these words and the 12 Agile Principles. Hang on in this video. Just follow me, okay? We'll get started with the 12 Agile Principles one by one. In 2016, I gave my PMP certification. At that time, we didn't have Agile. But today's PMP examination in 2022 has 50% of Agile questions. In 2017, I passed my CSM certification. And in 2019, I passed my PMI-ACP certification examination. I've also done my IC Agile certification in 2017. So why do I see this, right? So there was a learning process for me to understand the Agile values and principles of being Agile, right? All of us are in workplaces, we understand. We see Agile around us, but it is good to know these values and these principles and be Agile. Now, let me help you understand these 12 principles. I'll talk about a principle. I'll give an example from my career. We'll go one by one slowly. Bear with me for the next 10 to 15 minutes. And then I'll give you the mnemonics and the relations, how you can retain these Agile principles for a long time and work efficiently and pass your certification examinations. As I told you, once again, the goal of this video is to help you learn better, simplify your learning process, make it easy for you. So the first principle says, our highest priority is to satisfy the customer through early and continuous delivery of working software. The highest priority, right? So what could be the highest priority? Okay, it's developing the working software early and continuously. Let me give an example. The first project is when we were developing a software for a telecom giant in Southeast Asia. So they wanted us to do this project in like 5 months. Now the project is for 5 months. So what does early and continuous mean for them? Yes, at the end of 5 months, we're going to give them software. But what is early? So they told us, please give us 2 releases. After 3 months, give us 1 release. We want to see how it was in production. We give a feedback. And then again, after 2 months after that, give me 1 more release. So 3 months, at 2 months, 5 months, that's early. But still, how do we break it down? How do we get faster feedback? Agile is all about getting faster feedback, improving things, right? Continuous improvement. So then we had sprints. The sprints is like we're putting the code into from testing to UAT, QA, and then from QA to UAT, and the client is going and checking the code in UAT, right? For every sprint and giving us feedback. Okay, move this button here, move this flow here, and then after that, they're coming and saying, okay, can you change the color, or can you put the more encryption over here, right? So these kind of things. So that's one way. When you're working on projects, right? Greenfield projects, launch projects from scratch, you know about production the next day. Project has a duration start to end. But still, how do we do it? And in an iterative way. The sprints are the iterations. That's early and continuous. Customers satisfy every 2 weeks. We have a sprint of like 2 weeks. Okay. Second example. I was working in one of the product companies, wherein once a product is launched to the customer, it's gone in production, every week there's a production release. If they're in bugs or CR, so every week we are kind of fixing things, getting the UID sign off, reviewing, having the CSTD pipelines ready, having the builds ready, right? And then things are going into production every week. Fast, continuous, early, continuous. Early and continuous is equal to satisfied customer. So that's the first principle. Let me read it word to word for you, right? Our highest priority is to satisfy the customer through early and continuous delivery of valuable software, not documents. Software, valuable software, right? And valuable software is like something that customer can use, not in what's in UAT. Right? UAT is just giving feedback and having things in the manual ready and not finding put it for production. But then you use the iterations to get faster feedback. Let's go to the second principle, word to word. Welcome changing requirements, even late in the development. Agile process harnesses change for customers' competitive advantage. The principle says that we should welcome changing requirement even late in the process of development. Now, this is very, very subjective, right? It depends on the kind of contract we have made with the customer, right? If it's an internal or external projects, right? How often can we accept? Like, for example, fixed price projects, we will put our foot down and we can't accept the change. But if we accept, then something has to go out, right? So understand this. Let me give you one more example. In the same project that was Southeast Asian organization or telecom giant, right? So we had like 60 stories to be delivered in 5 months. Towards the end, they came and they told, we need this 10 more stories to be developed. These are very important for us. Okay, fine, we'll do it. But something has to be pushed out. Understand this. Agile cannot bend time and space. Right? Changing the requirements is accepted, whatever, but something has to go out. We put our case in front of them, push out few things, same amount of work we've taken. That's called welcoming changing requirements. And the team has to have this mindset. Oh man, we just built it and now they're coming with some change. So usually how does business work? Towards the end, they get more clarity, not in the discovery phase, right? Once they start testing and seeing the software, they'll no, change this, no, I want an extra approval to be added. No, I want an extra checkbox to be added. I want an extra role to be configured. And so this is very key important, okay? You want to welcome change in requirements. Like for example, I was working with one of the leading giant banking customer. So in the product that we made, they came in towards the end and said, can you give us the bulk approval to be added? It was not a part of the business requirement document, but it was this important. Towards the month end, it helps us, right? We can approve hundreds of approvals in single go. Where in use case, we brainstorm, we say, yes, we take it, something else goes. Okay, that's the second principle for you, right? Welcome changing requirements even late in the development. Agile process harness change for the customers are competitive advantage because they want to go fast to the market. Time to market, they want to shorten, reduce it, right? That's what the customer wants. Now let's go to the third principle. Deliver working software frequently. We are developing the working software frequently from a couple of weeks to a couple of months with preference to the shorter time scale, not the longer. If you've got 2 projects, If you have 2 sprints, with a 4-week sprint and 2-week sprint, it's always good to go for 2-week sprints. You get faster feedback. That could be one of your interview questions also, right? You develop something within 2 weeks, you give it to the customer in the UAT environment, they go and test it. This is, okay, this is good, this is not good, fix it. Within 2 weeks. You're not waiting for like 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. You get this feedback in 2 weeks, you're adjusting. Each sprint, you help adjust, tweak. You retrospect, you demo, you retrospect, you adjust, you tweak, and then you give something. You improve upon. Right? This is very, very important. Almost all agile projects, right? You could go to production every week for a product that's already in production. Okay, when you're doing the operations or the keep business running or the BAU mode, business as usual mode, or the KPR mode, keep business running mode, whatever is it, right? You could put weeks on into production. Or if it's a project, you observe for every 2 weeks and give feedback, take feedback, improve. That's about delivering working software frequently from a couple of weeks to months, maybe 4 weeks, with preference to shorter duration. That's right. The fourth value, it says that business people and the developers, both of them should work together daily throughout the project. Okay, so this principle is again connected back to the value, individuals and interactions over processes and tools. Not just putting some story in Jira and then leaving it over there, right? You want somebody to come and explain it. The business team knows the best what is it they need from this. Right? The business team or the end user, right? So the developers should interact with them daily, every day of the project. And then we make a better software. Most of the time, what I've observed is that it is not a technical skill issue. They're very good developers, but still projects fail because they don't understand the requirement. But if the business people and the developers work together daily, we can build greater software. That's the fourth principle. Let me give an example. So back in 2006, I was working in one of these services organizations in IT industry, wherein we had our team, we had the vendors, there was an IT team, the product company, and they had the business team. So there were issues that we weren't able to deliver to the mark of the IT team or the business team. Both are unhappy. Then finally, I decided, okay, let's take the team to the customer's premises and let the developer work with the business users. This worked out very well for us. Within 2 months, we have brought down all the noise. Right? We actually stabilized the code and everybody was just commenting the way the work was being done. The escalations had come down. Right? So when the business people and the developers work together daily, you make better softwares. That's the fourth principle of Agile. Okay? Let's go to the fifth one. Build projects around motivated individuals, people who are motivated to work. Give them the environment and support. What support can you give them, right? They need, and trust them to get the job done. So many things, right? Motivated individuals, you give them an environment, the support that they need, and trust them to get the job done. It's not like we want self-organizing teams, right? Right? So we trust them, right? So everyone, when you're going to kind of micromanagement, it's not like, right? Micromanagement is like having a CCTV in a place where you don't want people to see what you're doing, right? Nobody likes micromanagement, right? So Agile says in this principle that build project on motivated individuals, people who own up things, who are self-organized, who show high accountability, right? And give them the environment and the support and trust them to get the job done. Right? You don't want to assign them tasks every day. You have a daily scrum, people come and see what's in the queue, they just pick it up. There's already the story, the auto sprint, people come and see and they just pick it up. Right? Let me give an example. So one of the teams which I handled, right? I had like 7 to 8 senior developers and guys with 8 to 10 years of experience, right? These guys were so self-organized, right? I didn't even have to go to the daily scrums to see what they were doing. These guys just work among themselves. They used to handle the scrum. Every month there was a release. There were 19 releases in production in the DWS house in the organization, and none of them had a leak in the production, a defect leak in the production. And that meant a lot, right? So I trusted them with the work. These guys were happy because of that. They were happy that I was not doing micromanagement, right? And I gave them due support also, right? We were just backing them the right amount of work. We had the correct capacity plan for the work to be done. The effort was never more than the capacity, right? So these things. So that's the fifth principle for you. We need to build project on motivated individuals. Okay, let's go to the sixth one. The sixth one says that the most efficient and effective method of conveying information How do you compare information, right? The most efficient, effective method of conveying information to and within a development team is face-to-face communication. You all know, right, how much easy it is when you have a person in front of you talking to him. You understand the way this person is grasping the information. Right? Is he rejecting you? Is he accepting you? Yeah, right? And it's easy. Like for example, 5 or 10 people sit and just work together in a place, and 2 people having a conversation. Third person gets to know something about the project which is not aware. That's called osmotic communication. Right? Like for example, in one of the organizations where I worked, okay, the daily scrums were amazing because literally we had to just stand in front of a pillar that had the scrum board, 10 o'clock to 10:50, every day just see the pillar with the stories listed out for the owners, and just keep moving things from right to left. We're just talking about, okay, what happened, what is the issue, what is the dependency, right? So that was the best way of conveying information. Yes, we had Jira software separately, but still we preferred these boards because people are standing in front of each other. And then COVID happened. People were remote. Now again, people are coming back and working organizations, right? Though the best part I feel about the way of working and sharing information is face-to-face communication. That's the principle of Agile. The 6th principle of Agile. Okay, so that's just as simple as that. Okay, best way of conveying information is through having face-to-face communication. Have boards, stand in front of them, talk to people, right? Having boards is like the practice you're doing. So face-to-face communication is the principle. Okay, that's important. The 7th principle, it says that working software is the primary measure of success. Working software is a primary measure of success. What do you mean by that? It's something that's useful by the customer, right? It's not about just something in UAT, something that it's in production, right? We have to get things useful to the customer. Yes, you're having iterations, you're getting feedback, you're improving the product, but still the customer's not used it. So the working software is a primary measure of success, right? I give an example earlier in all of the videos, right? So, with the mobile phone, so it has to be useful. If you have a phone, if you can't make calls, then what's the point of having it, right? So working software is the primary measure of success. With all the clients I've worked, the last 16 clients I've worked, right, in the last 7 years, all of them is just something. So like, you give me something that works. Something that works is what I'm asking you for, right? That's very important. Imagine you have great functional flows and the non-functional requirements are not working. There's a performance issue. The moment 1,000 users are using the app, it goes down. No point. Your non-functional requirements are also important, right? So working software is the primary measure of success. Okay, like for example, one of the clients we were working with, our product had some login issues. It was taking almost like 10 to 15 seconds for us to log into the product, right? And people not liking it. Then we improved the performance. We got it like 300 milliseconds, right? So that's important. Anything that's useful. Like for example, we give somebody an option to select bulk approval, okay? And if we don't give them the filters to segregate things, right? Then what's the point of it? You have to think with the user's perspective. Many things come into this, right? How the user is going to use this. So working software is a primary measure of success. Okay, that's the 7th principle. Let's go to the 8th one. It says, Agile processes promote sustainable development. Agile processes promote sustainable development. The sponsor, developers, and users should be able to maintain a constant pace. The sponsor, developer, and the users should be able to maintain a constant pace indefinitely, right? For example, in one of the companies working, the project was almost for like 2.5 years. It was a banking client, right? I was in a project for almost a year and 4 months. And we had like 52 sprints and then again 8 sprints, like somewhere around 60 sprints. Each sprint, the velocity was like 45 to 47. Right? That was our velocity, constant velocity. Right? That was a very long project, but then we delivered the project in an agile manner. We were kind of putting things on vanilla environment, testing it, getting the users to come and test it before we going to launch it. It was a banking application. People were to launch it just like that. They wanted to thorough UAT, a thorough regression, but they wanted to maintain through agile. They want to work through agile way of development. Use the agile methodology called Scrum and develop this project. Get frequent feedbacks. Right? So that's important. So sustainable development is important. It's not like You put 10 people when there is like firefighting, right? Most times, most of the startups, we see this problem, like you don't have many people, then suddenly you put everybody else in the project and then you do it, right? That's not sustainable. You can't keep out boiling the midnight oil every week or every day. Once you buy here and there, sometimes peaks are okay, but not everyday peaks. Right? Peaks and valleys, okay. We know IT sometimes there'll be peaks, but not everyday peaks, right? Peaks and valleys are fine, but sometimes, but it should be sustainable. Even peaks are also, Agile says, don't go to the peaks of putting efforts always, right? That's important, okay? So sustainable development, constant pace, that's the Agile principle over here. That's the 8th one. 9th one, continuous attention to technical excellence, okay? We get technical excellence and good design enhances agility. From the time you start building the code, you should think like, what's the best way of writing the code? How is it going to help us kind of scale up? How is it going to integrate with different APIs, right? With the different systems, okay? All this has to be thought through. Like, for example, I give an example. I was once working in a consulting organization and we were working on a POC for kind of merging multiple PDFs together, okay? So this was amazing, right? Because we had to build the front end, we had to have the back end. You know, what we used to do, or like we build the entire code on like static data, we had dynamic data, we had to pull data from different documents, then stitch them, merge them and stitch them, then you find a document to the end user, right? So the POC was like for 7 weeks, but it was great fun because like we had thought through the entire design and we used to demo them every day in the evening. Every day demo, imagine. Every day they come and see the UI is changing like this, dynamic data is something like this way, and they're just happy. Like, wow, this is great. This is like, how's that you can make it so easy, right? Because we just talked through it for the POC, how best this can be done, and we delivered it. That's the importance, right? So give importance to this technical excellence, and then your demo is also going to be very good. You think of the user personalities are going to be very, very useful. See, as fast as you can demo, I'm talking about a demo every day, not even 2 weeks. Right? We have done that also. Okay, great. And customer never asked for a demo every day. We just gave it to them. Okay, because we were confident that it's gonna keep them happy, and we want to win the larger project with the POC. Okay, that's it. That's the right principle. 10th one, simplicity, the art of maximizing the amount of work not done. Right? We're just gonna do what is essential. Most of the time, product development people think of just features. No, product development is not just building features. It is solving problems. You need to solve the problem of the user. That is important. Like, for example, in all the organization work, we can give them extra features of adding users or adding leads or adding data. Customer never asked this for you. Why are you giving it to me? That's extra feature. That's like gold plating. I don't want gold plating. Right? So just keep it simple. What is what's important for the customer? Give that. That's the 10th principle. 11th one. The best architectures, requirements and design emerge from self-organizing team. Guys who are like together, right? Self-organizing team who collaborate more and they just pick up the work and start doing it. They don't even need a project manager or scrum master to tell them pick this and do it. That's the Agile. The end goal of Agile is what? There are two end goals of Agile. One is collaboration, one is self-organizing team. If these two things are there, and then you just move on to another scrum team and start working with them. So I had this benefit of working with such a team in one of the services organizations. I just mentioned the example earlier. 7 to 8 developers, all more than 7 to 8, 10 years of experience, excellent self-organization, excellent output. I didn't have to worry much. I have to kind of play the role of Agile coach, the Scrum Master, right? I didn't have to get involved in day-to-day work. They just kept me at the middle. You don't need to involve. We'll take care of things. That's the end goal of Agile, having more self-organizing teams, right? Finally, the last principles, it says, at regular intervals, the team reflects on how to become more effective. How can they become more effective? Then tunes and adjust, okay? If this is not fine, let's fix this. Let's do this, okay? Is behavior accordingly. What is this? These are the retrospectives that happen after the sprint demos within the team. What went well? What can we improve? What are the action items? Right? So these are the questions that people are asking. So at a regular interval, after every sprint, it is a system. See, Agile, the sprint ceremonies give a system to give you an great output. Systems give you the desired goals, right? So the sprint ceremonies is the part of the system that gives you the end goal that you want. It becomes a habit. Okay, so those are the 12 principles with you. Take a short break for a second or two, and now tell you how will you remember these 12 principles, these 12 long principles. In the exam, you're not tested for like word to word of these principles, neither the sequence of these principles. So now let's get back, let's use our brain, the mnemonics I told you, association, your brain and the association, right? Let's kind of start mapping that so that you remember these things. Okay. So the first one, what is the first question I asked you? What is your BMI, your BMI index, right? Your body mass index. So this question is, so what are the 3 principles that fall under this, under the BMI? Okay. The first one, it says B stands for business people and developers must work together daily. That's the BM. B stands for business people and developers must work together daily. The next M. M stands for projects are built around motivated individuals. M stands for the motivated individuals, right? Give them the environment, support and trust them to get the work done. That's the principle. BM. I is talking about the information sharing. What's the best way of information sharing? Face-to-face communication, right? Just face-to-face. That's the best way of conveying information. Those are the 3 principles. BMI, business people and developers work together daily. M stands for motivated individuals, projects are built on them. I stand for information sharing, is face-to-face communication. So, hope you remember that. BMI stands for these 3 principles. Next, we spoke about the ball. Remember this ball? We spoke about this. Throw. Throw is the word. Throws. So, what are the principles coming under the throws? So, T stands for continuous attention to technical excellence, right? How are we kind of improving the part, right? When you're writing the code, what is the best way of having the best code written? Technical excellence. So thinking about that. The code restructuring, the way it has been written, right? All that's important. Okay, that's the excellence. T stands for that. H. H stands for our highest priority is to give the customer software early and continuous delivery. That's the H. THR. R stands for at regular intervals, we retrospect. R is for that, right? We kind of review and adjust things. That's the principle of that, right? THR. O. O stands for projects are built around self-organized teams. O is for that, okay? Organized, organized by themselves, right? They go pick up tasks and they do it by themselves. They don't have to be assigned. Agile is all about self-organization, right? So the O stands for organized self-organization. Remember that. THROW. W is for Agile says we welcome change in requirements even late in the development. We welcome change in requirements. W stands for that. We welcome change in requirements even late in the development process. And then S stands for Agile process promotes sustainable development, right? At a constant pace. The velocity is constant. So that's the principle. Those are the 6 principles with the so THROWS. T stands for technical excellence, H for highest priority, R for regular intervals you're retrospecting, O for organized, self-organized teams, W for welcome change in requirement, and S for sustainable pace. See, it's so simple. Then lastly, I asked you the question, are you in the business of developing working software? DSW. So the principle with DSW for D is the goal of Agile is that developing working softwares. That's the primary measure of success, right? Right? So first is developing working software. That's the first principle with D. W is working software is the primary measure of success. Okay? So working software is the primary measure of success. D, W, S. S is simplicity, the art of maximizing the work not done. So these are the 12 principles which you can easily recollect and remember. Okay, now let me just do a fast recollect on the video so that you believe you can also do it. So BMI, business people and developers work together daily. M stands for projects that belong motivated individuals. I stands for information sharing is best done through face-to-face communication. Throws. T stands for technical excellence in the design. H stands for highest priorities developing working software frequently, right? THR. R stands for at regular intervals we are kind of adjusting and tuning things, retrospectives. O stands for organized. Projects are built on self-organized people, right? Self-organized team will give you more output. THROW. W is like welcoming changing requirements even late in the development. ROWS is for working at a sustainable pace. Right? That's the thing. So the last one is DSW. This developing working software for DW. W is for working software is a primary measure of success. And last is S. S is the simplicity, the art of maximum over not done. So these were the 12 Agile principles I wanted you to understand. Watch this video a couple of times. I'm very sure you'll be able to recollect this, remember it easily, and answer most of the questions based on Agile principle, Agile mindset, be it in PMP exam or PMI-ACP exam, CSM exam, PSM exam, SAFE exam, any of these exams. And then if you remember these values in your day-to-day work, you will be able to apply them in your work and make the environment more agile. And that's where the efficiency increases. That's it from my side. This is Arham Faraaz. Thank you for watching my video. I wish you all the success. Let me know what next video do you want to watch, what mnemonics do you want, what concept you want me to simplify and give you the video on that. Thank you for watching once again. Bye-bye.